Hello everybody, it's Adrian for WapCar.my and I'm all about the details. Behind me here is what I think the most beautiful car to be launched in Malaysia in 2019. The all-new 7th generation Lexus ES. And in today's video, I'm going to show you why I think the Lexus ES is the best premium executive sedan money can buy, whether you like to be driven in or to drive. Log on to WapCar.my for the latest reviews, comparisons, and car prices to help you find your next perfect car. And don't forget to click on the subscribe button. I remember when Lexus first presented the ES in 2018 and I saw the press photos, I immediately went, wow! It's basically a baby version of their flagship sedan, the LS, and I think that is a gorgeous looking car. On the LS, I think it looks a bit too expensive, a little bit over the top, I would say. I mean, fair enough, it's a ringgit car. On the ES, however, they got all the elements just right. It retains all the design cues reminiscent of the LS, such as this new generation spindle grille with the slats pointing towards the Lexus emblem, this ultra compact full LED headlamps, as well as the sculptures around the bumpers and bonnet. The chrome trimmings here is not as in your face as the LS, just little bits here and there to accentuate the body lines of the car. This being the premium variant, the full LED headlamps features adaptive function and dynamic turn signals. In the past, there was the Lexus GS, which was a proper class rival against the Mercedes-Benz E-Class and BMW 5 Series. But unfortunately, Lexus has no plans on replacing that model, hence that spot has been filled up by this ES. In terms of wheelbase, it's not as long as the E-Class 5 Series or Volvo S90, but in terms of sheer length, it's right up there with the rivals. The new generation ES rides on the Global Architecture K platform, which is Lexus's version of the TNGA. It shares its roots with the Toyota Avalon and Toyota Camry. The Camry, which we have reviewed recently, click on the pop-up banner above to watch it if you haven't. With the new platform, Lexus designers were able to create a car that's wider and sits lower to the ground, which results in this sultry looking and imposing Lexus ES. Other elements that I absolutely adore on the side profile of the ES include these wing mirrors that is sculptured like a piece of art. Another thing are the wheels. Now, they only measure 18 inches in diameter, but the visual impact is larger than the numbers suggest. And I think that is due to its fan blade multi-spoke design as well as the chrome-like finish. It fills up the wheel arches just right. The rear of the ES is as mesmerizing to look at as the front, and that's thanks to all the sculpture that's going on, as well as this subtle chrome trim that runs across the boot and lower bumper. But the star of the show are these LED tail lamps with layered graphics that sort of reflects into infinity. It's a simplified version of what you get in the LC Coupe and LS. Although I only have one problem with the entire exterior of the Lexus ES, and that is the turn indicators on the tail lamps. You see, you get dynamic turn signals on the headlamps, but not the tail lamp. On the luxury versions of the Lexus ES, you get a powered function for the boot with hands-free operation. All you have to do is just kick it underneath and the boot opens up. Unfortunately, it opens up to only 420 liters of boot space, and that is smaller than a BMW 3 Series. The tiny boot is largely due to the double wishbone suspension at the rear that results in this large wheel arch hump that eats into the boot space. But the plus side is you get a full-size spare wheel underneath. The cabin of the ES is best described as modern and classy. There are lots of luxurious touches here and there. Every panel is draped in high quality materials. Although it's not as fancy as what you get in an E-Class that has a widescreen cockpit and 64 color ambient lighting, very fancy. But the ES is still a rather decent place to be in. This being the range-topping premium model, you get all the bells and whistles ticked. For example, you get a 12.3-inch widescreen infotainment display. Non-touchscreen, you have to control this via the Lexus trackpad down here. And over to the driver's side, you get a heads-up display as well as a digital instrument cluster. On the center is a 7-inch display with your rev counter and speedometer, and over to the left, there's a TFT multi-info display. Although the UI is the same as what you get on the smaller Lexus NX and the rest of the Toyota models, but the display is higher definition in the ES. Moving on, there's a 3-spoke multifunctional steering wheel with pedal shifters, and I quite like this wood inlays on the above and lower section of the steering wheel. This wood trim is also found on the side doors and connects throughout the dashboard. giving a very luxurious touch. The front seats have 10-way power adjustments with 3 memory settings, as well as heating and ventilated functions. Although this is the first time I've seen automatic function for the heated and ventilated seats. Storage on the side door bins is less than ideal. You can't fit a water bottle in there, only some loose items. So where are you going to fit your water bottle, you ask? Right here on the center console. This is perhaps the largest and deepest center console storage I've seen. But if you don't need to fit such a large bottle, there's a little mechanism which you can split the console storage so you can fit a smaller things and it doesn't drop all the way down. The center armrest storage can be opened from the passenger's side or driver's side, and in here houses the Qi wireless charging tray that is only available in the range topping premium variant. Although this Qi wireless charging tray does take up quite a bit of space from the center armrest storage. Of course, the cabin of the ES is not perfect. There are some flaws as well, starting with this infotainment system. It doesn't come with Apple CarPlay nor Android Auto connectivity. And this trackpad is just difficult and unintuitive to use. But what annoys me a little bit more is how the infotainment system doesn't recognize Chinese characters. So if I'm playing my J-Chow music, it looks like I'm being censored. So I thought it was the menu settings, I have to change the language into Chinese. But the language settings doesn't support Chinese characters. But there's Bahasa Melayu, Indonesia, Vietnamese and Thai, which is cover all bases and fine. But curiously, on the instrument cluster's meter settings, the language settings has Chinese characters. Now the center infotainment screen has very high resolution and definition graphics, very nice and crisp, but the moment I bring up the 360-degree camera, it immediately turns to a potato. I mean, it's blurry and I can't tell what's going on. It's even worse at night. The best-in-class 360-degree camera is still the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Another thing that's quite peculiar is that the glove box compartment of the Lexus ES doesn't come with felt lining. I mean, the smaller NX has it. The best seat in the house is the rear passenger side. Now, the front seat is adjusted to my usual comfortable seating position and I'm 175 cm tall. This is the amount of legroom that I have. Quite generous, but if you need more room, you can always press the boss switch and push the seat forward and recline. But interestingly, the headrest doesn't have that collapsible function as you see in the Toyota Camry. Things just gets better from there onwards. In this range-topping luxury spec, you get a center control panel if you fold down the middle armrest. You get 2 cup holders as well as buttons to control the main functions of your seat, infotainment and powered rear sunblinds. Other amenities in here include rear air vents with independent temperature controls, 2 USB charging ports as well as a Telford socket. On the center armrest, you have a rather large storage space which you can put your, I guess, tennis balls. This car is damn dangerous to drive. You have to be very careful behind the wheel because you might actually fall asleep driving it. That's how comfortable it is. It's the most comfortable car I've driven in the segment, and I have to give props to Lexus because the ES rides on passive suspension setup, no fancy adaptive or air suspension. Being the new GAK platform, the rear axles ride on double wishbone suspension that gives superior handling prowess. And I have to say, the handling capabilities of the ES is comparable to a BMW, and I'm not exaggerating one bit. The steering has an otherworldly sense of fluidity that's also satisfying to turn. I'm just craving for corners after corners, smiling ear to ear. The responsive steering also makes the ES very nimble to drive in town. Don't get me wrong, it's a big car, but it doesn't feel bulky or intimidating to drive. Even I can't fault the 2.5-litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder dynamic force petrol engine. Although its 206 horsepower and 247 Nm of torque is nowhere near as powerful as its German rivals, its smoothness and linearity is just a match made in heaven for the ES chassis. I foresee keyboard warriors are going to complain about the ES not having a turbocharged engine or that it's very slow. But walao, come on way. Give you turbo engine, you go and complain unreliable. Now we give you any engine, you go and complain underpowered. That's your typical Malaysian consumers for you lah. You can dial the powertrain settings and steering response into sports mode by turning this lever on top of the dashboard and manage the 8-speed automatic transmission via the pedal shifters. But honestly, just don't bother. Leave it into normal mode and just enjoy the ride. The ES is also equipped with the Lexus Safety System Plus Advanced Driving Assistance System. It's also on the NX300 facelift, which we have reviewed recently. Click on the pop-up banner above to watch it if you haven't. As I've mentioned in the NX video, the adaptive cruise control works smoother than the Volvo's in terms of its acceleration and deceleration. The low speed follow and lane tracing assist works brilliantly well. You just have to watch out for the unclear road markings as well as weaving traffic that might throw the system off. The ES is not just for the drivers either. For the tail case in the back seat, the good handling means that there's less body roll and you don't get thrown around as much around the bends, making it even more comfortable to be in. Cabin insulation is incredible in the ES. You get double glazed windows all around, and even as we are traveling at triple-digit speeds, I'm registering about 63 to 65 decibels. I can't hear much from the outside world. The most I get is a mild tire roar from the Bridgestone Turanza T0058 tires. I'm gonna miss this car so much. The all-new Lexus ES is the most comfortable and refined luxury executive sedan on the market right now. It looks properly expensive and its features is well worth the over 300,000 ringgit price tag. Yes, the 2.5-litre naturally aspirated engine is not as punchy as some of its forced induction rivals, but it doesn't hide the fact that this is a great handling car. Now, some of you may think that the Lexus brand is not as prestigious as Benz, BM, Audi, but remember this: Lexus was created to challenge the best of Mercedes-Benz with Japanese reliability. Thanks for watching, we hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this. And let us know in the comment section below whether would you pick the Lexus ES over an E-Class and 5 Series.